Welcome to this audiobook. Today, you are not just going to hear a summary of a book. You are going to hear something that could change the way you look at your entire life. This is not about tips or tricks. It's about something much deeper. Something that millions of people around the world are searching for. And maybe you are too. What if I told you there's a Japanese word that holds the secret to a long, happy, and meaningful life? And what if I told you that this word is not just a word, it's a way of living, a way of waking up every morning with peace, energy, and clarity in your heart? That word is Ikigai. If you stay with me till the end, this might be the most meaningful audiobook you've ever heard. So now, let's begin the journey. Let me begin with a story. There was once a Japanese woman, a mother, a teacher, a kind human being who suddenly fell into a coma. Her body was alive, but her mind was somewhere else. Doctors were not sure if she would survive. Her family stood beside her bed crying silently. But something strange happened while she was unconscious. She said she found herself in a completely white space, quiet, peaceful, still, and then she heard a voice. The voice asked her a question, "Who are you?" She answered softly, "I'm a mother of 4 children." But the voice replied, "We are not asking what you do, we are asking who are you?" She thought for a moment and said, "I'm a school teacher." The voice repeated, "That is your profession, but who are you?" She said, "I'm Japanese, I'm Buddhist, I'm a woman." And every time the voice simply said, "That is your culture, that is your religion, that is your gender, but still, who are you?" And in that moment, she realized something. She had spent her entire life playing different roles: wife, mother, teacher, citizen. But she had never really asked herself that one powerful question: who am I without all of it? The voice then said, "When you know who you truly are, you may return." And just like that, she woke up. From that day on, she lived her life differently. She began searching for something deeper. Not a job, not a title, not a routine, but a reason. A reason to be alive, a reason to wake up every morning, a reason to smile even on bad days, a reason to exist. That reason is what the Japanese call Ikigai. What is Ikigai? Ikigai is a beautiful word that means the reason for being, or in simpler words, the reason you get up in the morning. It is not just about making money. It is not about being famous. It is not about what society tells you to do. It is about something that lives deep inside you. A quiet voice that says, "This is why I'm here." Some people find it in their work. Some find it in taking care of others. Some find it in art or teaching or building or growing food or even just sharing smiles. But the important thing is we all have one. You have one, I have one, everyone has an Ikigai. The problem is most of us forget to look for it. The 4 questions. So how do we find it? That's where the 4 questions come in. These are not questions you answer quickly. These are questions you sit with, you reflect, you write, you think, and slowly your real self begins to appear. Question 1. What do you love? This is the first and most important question. What is something that makes your heart feel alive? Something that gives you energy, not takes it away. Maybe you love cooking, writing stories, helping people, fixing things, solving problems, dancing, planting trees, or listening to others. This is not about what makes money. This is about what makes you happy. Question 2. What are you good at? We all have something we are naturally good at. Some people are good listeners. Some are good with their hands. Some are good with numbers. Some are great with children. Ask yourself, what do people often thank me for? What do I do well, even if I don't try too hard? Question 3. What does the world need? This is not about saving the entire planet. This is about looking around and asking, how can I help someone today? Maybe your village needs fresh food. Maybe your friend needs someone to talk to. Maybe your neighborhood needs someone to care for the elderly. Question 4. What can you be paid for? Let's be honest, we all need to survive. But Ikigai says, what if your purpose could also support your life? This does not mean chasing millions. It means doing what you love in a way that also feeds you, supports your family, and gives you a stable life. When you find something that answers all four questions: what you love, what you are good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for, that is your Ikigai. And when you live with Ikigai, you don't just survive, you live. Let me give you a simple example. There is a woman named Maria. She's 32 and lives in Brazil. Every morning she wakes up at 5 a.m. and begins to bake. She prepares fresh bread for her small town. She doesn't own a big company, she doesn't make a huge income, but when she bakes, she feels alive. She forgets her stress. Her thoughts become calm. She smiles without trying. What does Maria love? Baking. What is she good at? Creating beautiful recipes. What does the world need? Her town needs fresh, healthy food. What can she be paid for? Her bakery provides just enough income. This is her Ikigai, and the beauty is your Ikigai doesn't have to be big. It just has to be true. Understanding the circle. The Japanese created a simple and beautiful diagram to help people find their Ikigai. Imagine your life is a puzzle. You are not just your job, you are not just your dreams, you are a combination of all these things, and when they connect in the right way, you feel whole. You feel peace. You feel purpose. The 4 parts explained. 1. What you love, your passion. This is something that fills you with energy. You lose track of time when you do it. You feel alive, creative, free, but passion alone is not enough. Many people love painting or writing but struggle because they can't turn it into a full life. 2. What you are good at, your profession. Maybe you're skilled at teaching, coding, or designing. But sometimes people are good at things they don't love. They're successful but empty because they're missing the heart. 3. What the world needs, your mission. This is about service. It's about giving your life meaning beyond yourself. A mission gives you a reason to grow, a reason to get up every morning, even when things are hard. 4. What you can be paid for, your vocation. This is where purpose meets stability. Without this, you may struggle with financial worry, even if you love what you do. When they connect, if you combine what you love and what you're good at, but don't help others, you feel satisfaction, but something feels incomplete. If you combine what you're good at and what pays well, but don't love it, you feel trapped. If you combine what the world needs and what you're paid for, but you're not good at it, you feel like a fake. If you combine what you love and what the world needs, but don't get paid, you burn out. But when all 4 connect, when you do something you love, something you're good at, something that helps others, and something that supports your life, that is your Ikigai. That is the circle. That is your center. Example, David the chef. David, a 45-year-old chef in Italy, grew up loving food. As a child, he watched his grandmother cook fresh pasta every Sunday. That's his passion. Over the years, he became really good at it. That's his profession. But David didn't want to just make money. He started teaching young kids from poor families how to cook, giving them skills and confidence. That's his mission. And yes, he earns enough from his restaurant and classes. That's his vocation. Now David wakes up early, cooks with joy, teaches with love, and lives with peace. Not just because of his career, but because he is living at the center of his Ikigai circle. Now comes the real question. How do you find your Ikigai? Because it's easy to say, follow your passion. It's harder to know what your passion is. Step 1. Remember your childhood joy before the world told you who to be, before money, before fear, before pressure. What did you love doing as a child? Drawing, singing, playing outside, helping people, building things, solving puzzles. Those small things often hold big answers. Step 2. Notice what makes you forget time. Have you ever done something and hours passed like minutes? That's called flow. And flow is a sign of Ikigai. When do you feel completely focused? What activity makes you forget to check your phone? Maybe it's cooking, fixing machines, writing, or walking in silence. Start there. Step 3. Listen to compliments you always receive. Sometimes others see our gifts more clearly than we do. What do people often thank you for? What do they always say you're good at? Maybe you're the friend who always listens. Maybe you give the best advice. Maybe you organize things beautifully. These are not small things. These are keys to your purpose. Step 4. Explore, don't decide. Finding Ikigai is not like finding a perfect answer in one day. It's more like trying on different clothes. You experiment, you explore, you try things. Give yourself permission to try new things. Volunteer, join a workshop, start a small side project. Help someone for free. Step 5. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Your Ikigai will never come to you while sitting and overthinking. It comes through action. Even one step a day is enough. Maybe you work a full-time job and you're tired. Start with just 10 minutes a day doing something you enjoy, something that feels meaningful. Real example. Aisha's walking tours. Let's meet Aisha, a 28-year-old woman living in Kenya. She works as a receptionist in a hotel. It pays the bills, but she doesn't feel inspired. One evening, a guest asked her to recommend a walking tour in the city. She said, "I'll show you myself." She walked the guest around the town, told stories, showed art, shared food stalls. When they returned, the guest said, "You should do this for a living. You're amazing at this." Aisha felt something shift. She loved storytelling. She knew her city deeply. People loved the way she explained culture. Now, every weekend, she organizes walking tours. She makes extra money, meets new people, and finally feels alive again. That's her Ikigai. And it started with just one walk. Finding your Ikigai is not a big, loud moment. It's not a lightning strike. It's a quiet discovery. It's when you say, "This is what I meant to do." And you feel it, not just in your mind, but in your heart. Step 4. Explore, don't decide. Finding Ikigai is not like finding a perfect answer in one day. It's more like trying on different clothes. You experiment, you explore, you try things. Give yourself permission to try new things. Volunteer, join a workshop, start a small side project. Help someone for free. Step 5. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Your Ikigai will never come to you while sitting and overthinking. It comes through action. Even one step a day is enough. Maybe you work a full-time job and you're tired. Start with just 10 minutes a day doing something you enjoy, something that feels meaningful. Real example. Aisha's walking tours. Let's meet Aisha, a 28-year-old woman living in Kenya. She works as a receptionist in a hotel. It pays the bills, but she doesn't feel inspired. One evening, a guest asked her to recommend a walking tour in the city. She said, "I'll show you myself." She walked the guest around the town, told stories, showed art, shared food stalls. When they returned, the guest said, "You should do this for a living. You're amazing at this." Aisha felt something shift. She loved storytelling. She knew her city deeply. People loved the way she explained culture. Now, every weekend, she organizes walking tours. She makes extra money, meets new people, and finally feels alive again. That's her Ikigai. And it started with just one walk. Finding your Ikigai is not a big, loud moment. It's not a lightning strike. It's a quiet discovery. It's when you say, "This is what I meant to do." And you feel it, not just in your mind, but in your heart. Secret 3. Strong community and connection. Moe. In Okinawa, people are part of something beautiful called a moe, a small group of friends who support each other for life. They meet regularly. They share food, stories, tea, laughter, sadness, memories. If someone falls sick, the group helps. If someone is lonely, they visit. If someone is happy, they celebrate together. In most cities today, people feel isolated. But in Okinawa, nobody is alone. This deep connection keeps the heart young. Secret 4. A clear purpose that never retires. This is the biggest difference between Okinawan life and modern life. In most countries, people work hard all their life just to retire and rest. But in Okinawa, people never retire from purpose. Yes, they may stop a full-time job, but they don't stop living with Ikigai. A 102-year-old man may still play music. A 97-year-old woman may still tend her garden. An 89-year-old fisherman may still go to the sea for a few hours. Why? Because when your heart has purpose, your body keeps going. They don't wait for the weekend. They don't wait for vacation. They are already free because they are doing what they love every day. The hidden truth about retirement. Let's talk about something that almost nobody wants to hear, but Ikigai teaches it clearly. Retiring early may not always bring happiness. In fact, for many people, retirement leads to sadness, boredom, loneliness, and even early death. Why? Because we are not made to do nothing. We are made to create, connect, grow, serve, learn, move. When people stop working completely, they often lose their sense of identity. Real story. Tomoko the seamstress. Tomoko spent 60 years sewing clothes. She retired at 72, but after 1 year of doing nothing, she felt tired, anxious, and useless. One morning, she saw her old sewing machine in the corner. She turned it on. She began stitching small pouches and handkerchiefs. Then she started giving them away at the market. People loved them. They gave her hugs, smiles, and thank you letters. Now at 87, she sews every day, not for money, for love. She says, "When I sew, I feel young again. My hands remember, my mind becomes calm, my heart is alive." Tomoko didn't return to a job. She returned to her Ikigai. Work is not the enemy. Meaningless work is. You are not made to do a job you hate for 40 years and then sit on a sofa forever. You are made to find something meaningful and do it in any way you can for as long as you can. The power of flow. Let's talk about something beautiful that can transform your everyday life. It's called flow. Flow is a state of complete focus. It's when you're doing something and you forget time, you forget hunger, you forget stress. You're fully present, fully alive, fully yourself. Flow is not about big goals. It's about full attention. When do you feel flow? It could be when you cook a beautiful meal, write something from the heart, paint or design or sing, organize your space, help someone in pain, meditate or walk in nature. 6 simple rules for a meaningful life. In Okinawa and in many peaceful villages of Japan, people live by a set of quiet principles. Rule 1, take it slow. Modern life is fast. Japanese life is intentional. Walk slowly, breathe slowly, eat slowly. Because when you slow down, you feel life. And when you feel life, you feel peace. Rule 2, surround yourself with good friends. They spend time with people who make them laugh, cry, share, grow. Not fake smiles, but deep bonds. A circle of people who would walk beside you through fire that is worth more than gold. Rule 3, get in shape for your next birthday. It's not about having abs. It's about moving every day. Stretching, breathing, taking care of the only home your soul has, your body. Rule 4, reconnect with nature. City life can make us forget that we were born from the earth, not concrete. Go to the trees, walk barefoot in grass, look at the sky, touch water, sit in silence near flowers. Nature doesn't speak, but it heals. Rule 5, give thanks. Every meal, every morning, every gift, every person, they say thank you not just as words, but as a way of living. Gratitude softens the heart and brightens the spirit. Rule 6, live in the moment, forget the past, don't chase the future. Focus on the moment in front of you with your full heart. They don't multitask, they do one thing at a time with presence, with peace. Wisdom from the elders. Let me share what 100-year-old people in Okinawa told researchers. A 102-year-old woman said, "Don't worry too much. Life gives us problems, but worry is a second problem we create ourselves." A 99-year-old fisherman said, "Always have something to do. I may not fish like I did before, but I still go to the sea. I still feel the wind." A 91-year-old learning music said, "When you stop learning, your brain starts dying. I'm not afraid of death. I'm afraid of boredom." These are not motivational quotes. These are real voices of people who found the quiet joy of Ikigai. Now we arrive near the end, but this is not the end of an audiobook. This is the beginning of a new way of living. Life's greatest lessons. You were not born to suffer. You were born to live. You are not here just to pay bills. You were born to feel joy, to love, to create, to grow, to contribute. Life is not about what you do. It's about why you do it. A simple job done with love is more beautiful than a big job done with stress. You are never too old, and it's never too late. You can begin again. You can start today. Ikigai doesn't care about age. It only asks, what will you do with this moment? Purpose doesn't have to be big. It has to be true. You don't have to change the world. You just have to do something that feels honest, simple, and meaningful. You already have everything you need. You don't need more degrees, more followers, more fame. You just need time, attention, courage, and love. And you already have that inside you. Your permission to begin. You are allowed to restart. You are allowed to smile again. You are allowed to follow your curiosity. You are allowed to become the person your younger self dreamed of. Ikigai is already inside you, and if you still don't know what it is, that's okay. Start small. Start now. Start again tomorrow, but never stop. When people in Okinawa were asked, what is your secret to a long and happy life? They didn't say be rich. They didn't say work hard. They said, stay curious, stay kind, stay connected, and wake up every day with something to do. That is Ikigai. You are not broken. You are just waiting to begin. So take a deep breath and begin. Find your Ikigai and live it gently, fully, beautifully. Thank you for this journey. Now go live yours.